Hey Cameron, let's take a look at your revision here. First and foremost. Nice. Cool. Okay, that's looking much better. So yeah, the overlap here is working pretty well. I feel like so you have this adjustment right here where you have this abrupt down on the actual platform, and so that I feel like would give just a little bit more of an abrupt change, like as it goes down. So like maybe like right here, we would feel that a little bit more intensely, because what's happening is it's going over and it's reacting to that swing, and that's great. But then when you bring it down, it adds like a little bit more. So we want to feel that. And right now it feels like it's a little bit off there because of that. But yeah, this is nice as it goes across. Maybe a little bit too static. So it basically stops, and you see we have it stopped right here as it goes down in this area. And so I think here again you can like bring it back a little bit further. So think about the arc that you're creating. It goes up through here, and then like it goes up, and you can continue that around a little bit more. So it does like a little bit of an overlap through that arc. And then here, I almost think you're bringing it over. You're bringing it over this way a little bit too soon. Like I feel like it would still be dragging through there. Let's see. Yeah, so like through here, you can get a little bit more energy by bringing it back here, and then as it swings over, like I feel like that timing through there is pretty nice, but it's a little bit slow because you've already brought it over before it stops. So like once it gets, where I mean the timing is nice is like once it gets up here and settled, that timing is nice, but as it goes over here, it's like you're bringing it over a little bit too early. But overall, it looks pretty good. So good job on that. Let's see your pose assignment. Your planning here. Okay, that's good. You got your planning. And your pose assignment. That's nice. Yeah, that's looking a lot better. You're getting a lot more balance to this character, and overall that looks really good. I would try to still minimize the hand a little bit, maybe like bringing the thumb in. It's okay if it intersects against the hand itself, so we just like bring it closer in. And then, oh, I see the foot is back here. So maybe even like bring this foot behind the body there so we don't see it, just because it's creating just a little bit of a confusing silhouette there to me. Like I think it'll make more sense if we see that hand silhouette, and we understand that more than if we have that foot there. But otherwise, yeah, great job on taking those notes. It looks really good. Okay. So let's see your Taylor assignment. Okay. So good start, definitely. I think what you're doing with the overlap in the tail looks great. So I I don't really have any concerns there with how you're handling the overlap. I think that you're in proportion to what the body is doing, you're doing the right thing. Now there's a few little things with the tail. Let's just look at it again. Like this little move here, I feel like it might be a little too slow and even. So I would change up the spacing there to maybe make it start like right around here, so it's a little snappier into that move. But let's go over the body itself, because I think that needs the most work, and that's the most important thing. So like I said, I'm not really concerned about your understanding of the overlap of the tail, and that's great. But the anticipation and the weight of the character, it just needs a little bit of work. So okay, so first of all, we have your character starting from a resting position here. This is a great opportunity to show some anticipation. And with this, that anticipation, you're getting it in the tail, but we should see it in the body too. So maybe just like a little bit of a stretch up before that squash down. So it stretches and then goes down. You can even put some rotation in there, so maybe it rotates back in that stretch. So maybe like you get a stretch that way, and then a squash. As it squashes, it starts to roll this way. Now, when you do that, remember, well, you're doing, it looks like you're doing that, like you're lining it up with that rotation. It's good, but you can add a lot more of fluidity. You can add a much more fluid motion as you go through and bring that in there. So yeah, that anticipation, you have that contact frame, which is good, but I feel like maybe you could bring it out a little bit. Like the contact frame should be the most stretch that you have, and right now it looks like this is the most stretch that you have. Now you're bringing the tail into the contact frame too, which is actually a pretty good thing. Like it works pretty well, which means that you don't need it that much here. Like you need contact in the body, and then you're extending that contact through the tail, and that's fine. But right now it shouldn't be as stretched as it is. And then like you're bringing a little bit too much, like you're adding some squash and stretch as the character goes through the air. You don't need that. What that does is kind of takes away the weight of the character, and we want to use squash and stretch sparingly. And right now it's like there's controls are going on through the air, and it looks a little bit odd. The next thing is that, like, go back to the ball bounce and just really think about the ease ins and ease outs at the apex of this curve here, this jump, and give it more timing. Exaggerate that timing as your character is in the air, because right now it's like your character goes up and then comes down really abruptly. So the hop is like that, where the hop should be like up and down. So it's like that ease in and ease out at the top would really help you there. Now, as your character comes in, this is where we need a contact on the body too. So we have that stretch there, and again, I think you're using the tail for that, but the body needs to be part of that just as much as the tail does. And then it goes from there and then stops abruptly. We need to feel that weight settle. So it goes in, and then maybe goes to neutral, and then goes and squashes in a little bit. And then if you want to bring it back to neutral, then do that, but just do it over a few frames so we feel that like settle. And even then you can maybe add like a little bit of bounce or something like that, a little bit of rotation, something to give it some sort of keep alive there, to where it's not just like stopped. And that again, that shouldn't only be in the tail. The tail is just something like the icing on the cake. The main thing that's happening here is we're seeing that the body actually pushing itself off the ground into the air. And same sort of thing here, like you can bring that anticipation in there. Well, let's see. I think you have a little bit of, yeah, I mean, like, and then before you start this move, have that stretch, and then squash, and then that contact. Again, same note as before, like that should be the most stretch you have, and then no squash and stretch throughout in the air, like, and then also just more ease in and ease out at that jump. So it looks like that it's the same note for like every bounce here. The time spent in the air is too short, and then the way that excuse me, I have to pause because I took a sip of water and messed up my throat. Hold on. Okay, that should be better. So yeah, the way the contact frames are on every bounce, and the way it's like there's just an overuse of squash and stretch in the air. That's happening on every single bounce. And then here with this big one, we would definitely want like a bigger anticipation. This should be the biggest anticipation, so we should really see it go up and then come back down, squash, and then stretch out. More here, less here. And then even through this, like, just exaggerate that timing in the air and that land and that settle. Don't ever have your character like start to squash before they hit the ground. Like here, we want to see that change and we want to feel it. So as it goes in there, at the end, that's where we're going to get that nice settle. Also, it's really abrupt. Like that stop at the end is really abrupt, so we need to see just like a little bit, even if it's like a little, another little hop or a little slide or something that's gonna make it feel a little bit more natural. Those things are all gonna help your animation out a lot. So one more thing, the staging, I would just bring it over here, give it more room out here, and then less room in the beginning, just because this is where we're ending. And right now, if your character moves any farther, screen left, then it's going to be too far to the edge. But yeah, overall good work. It's a really good start. Like I said, you have the understanding of the overlapping action. It's just really making sure that the body itself, that we feel the weight on that character. All right, that's it, Cameron. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.